Hey, what's up everybody, BDF 44 coming at you with another video. Alright, so Gunna's free. And the question and the narrative is, did he snitch? And of course we heard the court case excerpt all over the publications that we love to see, that always tell us about how people are doing. And of course it was there, his voice clear as day, saying, yeah, such and such, etc., pleading his case. And so it's like, all right, this is the problem, man. Justice is justice. I don't have a problem with people going to jail for doing wrong, whatever. You catch them doing wrong, they caught. The end. Everybody knows the risk of what they do, I believe. But this whole circus, we've seen this movie before, and it's always something, man. We saw it with OJ, we saw it with Phil Spector, we've seen it with so many other cases in the past. Kobe, we've seen it all. You know, it's so I threw Phil Spector in there to keep the balance, because I don't want to say it's all about race, but usually it's a black dude, man. Regardless if he's guilty or not, it's always a circus around us. But sometimes it's not us. Either way, it's always a circus, and it's always a court case, and it's like 2 or 3 of them going on right now, right? You got Tory Lanez as well. Man, I'm over it. I'm over all of it. I'm at a point where I'm just looking at the situation. I'm saying, why does it always have to be some way that you have to look terrible in order to get whatever it is you need? Like, you notice that conundrum? You always, like, in order for Gunna to be free, the world has to think he's a snitch. It's like, why would y'all position it this way? First of all, I don't assume to perceive all of the context necessary to know what is necessary in regards to this. I'd imagine it's broader than what I can see or understand in regards to why we do certain things a certain way. But it just always seemed kind of strange to me that we would pin people against others and then force people to tell the truth about stuff that you know people are going to try to kill them for it, and then proceed to allow that information to be public. It just all seems really coercive to me, I guess. It is. It's like, hey, for us to get the win, the bad guys got to tell them the bad guys, and this is acceptable. I guess in a godless world it is, so let's keep it pushing. But I don't know. When we start talking about energy and stuff, this is where the norms start getting not so normal to me. But, you know, it is what it is. Like I said, I don't know what the context is. For all I know, it's the only way we know how to do it until someone comes along and finds a way to evolve whatever it is that we do. So, or not, and do this forevermore. Just like a lot of stuff that we don't revamp. So that's just what it is, man. I look at this and I say, okay, here we go, another snitch story that they can have a good time with. And, you know, the 6ix9ine's out here, he's doing his thing, you know what I mean? Running around, buying bags for ladies, just doing all of the stuff that would garner the attention of his people, that would actually be, you know, attracted to that type of entertainment. And I don't know who those people would be at this point, given what all has been and where he's at and how entertaining it was before versus where it is now. I'm just like, I don't know, man. But whatever, more power to him. Hopefully he can keep pushing, man, because I know it's a lot of people who look at him as a snitch. And it's like, well, he did what he did, but at the same time, it's like, you know, there are people who just don't respect the lives of people who tell, man. And for that to be something we understand but toy with, I just think it's like playing with forces we don't understand. You know how my brain is, right? So I'm going to tell y'all something that I think this is equivalent to. You know how they say don't shoot in the air because the bullet has to come down? This is one of those. Don't shoot in the air because the bullet got to come down. Don't just think that certain things are harmless, because you get, when you behave this way, or when you enact things this way, you can find yourself having collateral damage take place. You know, while they're trying to go after the snitch, they're going to hit the innocent bystander too, or it's two as well. The snitch himself is an innocent bystander, but like, you're going to get children involved in that, and people who have nothing to do with it sometimes get wrapped up in that. And our society and our government understands this, and we still interact this way. We still behave this way as if this is not possible. I'm like, yo, are we not accountable for the possibilities of things going wrong collaterally? in regards to civilians being caught up by way of these practices, for which we just kind of just go along with and be like, yeah, this is fine. He's a snitch. Okay, and there's going to be a lot of really, really vicious people after him because of it. That's an event when they get him. Like, that's an event that could cause a lot of trauma and a lot of murder. Like, we don't care about that, though, right? Because we got people and we got them in jail, and this is how we do it. Extract the information from the bad guys and then pin them against one another so they'll be leveraged against one another to tell on each other, and that's how we catch them. So, all right, that's how we catch them. Rest in peace to all the people that died for us to be able to get that information. Catch them. I don't know, man. I don't know. Everybody seems to be okay with stuff. I'm like I said, I don't have the context. Somebody could sit down with me and say, okay, that side of the room, this side of the room, and that side of the room, you don't see. And because of it, this is why we just must have snitches, and this is why we must make it public, and that is why it's most necessary. And I'm like, okay, the math works fine. I don't see the math, man. I don't see it. That looks really perverse to me. That looks like that is completely out of whack, and we're just rolling with it. Along with everything else, man, been listening to a lot of different stories about guys and being locked up, you know, and rightfully so. They did some stuff. They should be in jail, whatever. Okay. The conditions, maybe not so good. Fair. Where's the limit there? Is there a limit there? Am I not supposed to care? Okay, but am I shooting in the air? Because sometimes we lock people up who don't deserve to be in there. So is there a chance a bullet come down and maybe we have somebody in there starving to death and in those squalling situations because, you know, it just kind of looked that way, so the case went a certain way and now they're locked up even though they didn't do it? Yeah, that dude actually doesn't deserve to starve and rot and, you know, have trays dropped in with nothing in the trays after 23-hour lockdown. Like, that's not so cool if he didn't do it. And even if he did do it, I don't know if that's really the punishment. Isn't that kind of cruel and unusual? I think that's kind of cruel and unusual. But see, somebody has to define cruel and unusual properly. And I don't trust those who have been doing the definitions of said rules so they can bend them in however way they want to. Say, hey, you didn't do this in here, so now we're going to do something that isn't really all that cruel and unusual to us, even though it's going to be very, very unusual and cruel to you. And it's like, oh, okay, I'm not supposed to care about that at all. I'm not supposed to think about that. That's not on my mind at all because he's a bad guy in jail, maybe. Justice for all. So, you know, again, collateral damage, we trying to prevent that. Shooting in the air, bullets come down, bro. It's just not, it's not as simple as saying we're doing it right and it's just fine. Because when the collateral damage is your daughter or your son, then you're up in arms and you want world changes. Why wait till then? That's a whole lot of pain that doesn't have to happen if we start thinking like that right now. This whole snitch, let the government just pick people up and then use them against each other and then send them out on the street to possibly get murdered and their families get murdered. I don't really like that formula, man. I'm kind of cool on that formula. I don't really love it. Nah, I think we can evolve and maybe still be effective, especially with the internet now being in place. So it's like, yeah, I think that's being abused now. I don't think that may be as necessary. May not be. I just don't. I think it may be being abused right now, or people just ain't heard this yet. But yeah, I don't like the idea of this. The thing that bothered me about 6ix9ine story, and I've said this a million times, is his daughter was left vulnerable in my mind because of everybody thinks he's a snitch and they want to do something to him. Well, that's how it goes sometimes. So while we're promoting this and having fun with it, it's like, nah, I'm not gonna play about that. I'm praying about that. I worry about that still while he's running around buying Birkin bags and stuff. I'm like, man, the type of evil that's out there that gets mad at the stuff that you did, bro, they're not playing with nobody that does that just by example, friend. This ain't no joke. And that's the point. You run around saying Gunna did this, Gunna did that for entertainment. You better give the world the context. Don't play around like that. Like, because you're shooting in the air. And it's like, somebody needs to be able to articulate this with balance and say, yo, it's okay to to believe in the judicial system, but it is okay to also keep searching for more humane ways of being effective in what it is that we do. So we don't leave ourselves in positions to be traumatized by what could happen by the things that we're doing. And it hasn't happened yet. It ain't happened yet. You ain't seen the snitch get shot in front of 1 million people while he on stage rapping. You ain't seen that yet. But I can fathom that because my mind is like that. I can see that, bro. It's real. You don't play like that. Just like I said about getting Brittany Griner out. Bro, I see the fruit in bringing her back. I promise I did. I'm happy she's home. I promise I am. But I'm also crazy enough to know of the mind that's going to be like, okay, I know how to get what we need now. We snatching up the next celebrity. We snatching up celebrities everywhere. We going to make sure they give us what we want because we got about 8 of them at the same time. Like, you don't want to play with people, man. You understand what I'm saying? You don't. People are ambitious. And this is why we need the people who are responsible enough to be in positions to be in control of this, to be able to fathom such things and don't play with these things because they really don't understand how far it can actually go because they are not from a world where that's actually precedented. But it's the cause and effect of things. When you play with people's ambition and you show them examples of what could be and they take it to the max. We've seen Hitler. We know what that looks like. Some people are out there like that. And when you play as a government and you shoot in the air and the bullets come down, people start saying, oh, hey, I like what it looks like when I shoot in the air, or various examples of what they can take to the maximum extreme. This is why I always preach of being an example and being of a village, even if it ain't your child, making sure you're an example when the child's around because somebody's watching. These are the things. We got to start looking in the cracks nobody's looking at. Because I promise you, things are unprecedented. Things are possible because of the things that we're leaving vulnerable. And somebody needs to be able to fathom these things. I do. Stop playing. That's essentially what I think the disconnect is between the conversations because a lot of people are having it from a political standpoint. It ain't political, bro. Brittany's life mattered for sure. But you do not show the world an example that they can do this and be effective. No. No. That's a security breach. You're playing with your life. You're playing with other people's lives. And it ain't going to be funny to them until it's their kid that is getting this happening to because of this example. I don't want that to happen. I'm trying to prevent this entirely. And I pray to God I'm not giving anybody any thoughts or any, I'm trying not to. But what I'd have to do is point out what's fathomable. Sometimes we wait to be reactionary. Oh my God, the pandemic hit. Now we know we need to be prepared for such a thing as making sure people don't rush to the grocery store and pull off all the toilet paper because they think they're going to be in the house for 3 weeks because we told them they're going to be in the house for 2. You got to get your minds right and understand some things are possible because you are not thinking about what is preventative. You're just thinking about making money. Money ain't going to save you from the world burning or something happening like that. You got to be preventative. I've been in Los Angeles for a long time. We know we're on a fault that shakes the hell. Why isn't every single building prepared for that type of shaking? Should be beams in every building. Am I a fool? Do I not know that I've lived in this area where this thing can shake at any moment and split the whole state in half? Like we don't even think about these things because we're too busy worried about who's watching, who's doing what. Oh man, I'm not that guy, man. That's the stuff that's gonna catch y'all off guard while y'all doing the dumb stuff that you're doing. Not me though. Because I'm telling y'all right now, we got to be prepared for stuff. And it ain't about being paranoid or none of that. It's just about just looking around, man. Like, hold up. We're not focused. We will be caught completely off guard by certain things, man. And so it's fine to talk about it. I really believe that. Yeah, welcome home, Sergio Kitchens. They didn't leave you no choice but to look bad. That was the only way you was getting out. They wasn't going to let you come home not looking like a snitch. And that's the part that just is not so good about all of this. And like I said, maybe there's an angle that makes that make sense. Maybe there's an angle that makes that save children's lives. I just don't see that. I didn't take that class. BDF 44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.